So I'm here with Remi from the Rocky Mountain Gravity team with a super secret bike. Well, not so secret anymore?
A little bit secret. I mean, it's unreleased. So, I mean, by the time you're watching this, it will be released. The cover on all the logos will be taken off. But yeah, this is the new Rocky Mountain Altitude. So for 2024. Couple cool features with this new bike is the reach adjust headset cups. So on the size large, the neutral position is 480 millimeters, but then you can go to a 475 or 485 depending on how tall you are and your preferences. We got the penalty box 2.0 storage in the frame, so you can fit all your tubes and tools and a jacket, a hot dog, whatever you want in there. Just make sure you eat it pretty quickly if you do that. We have the Ride 4 here, so you can adjust the bottom bracket height and head angle with that. And then it can also do a mullet configuration with a flip chip in the rear shock. So mullet or 29. Right now I have it full 29. And yeah, that's how I ride it.
And do you prefer 29 over mixed?
I think for what we do in Enduro, the 29 is just higher efficiency and like just riding, you know, not so steep, not so gravity fed terrain where you're kind of like bouncing over awkward terrain. I think the 29er does a better job. Obviously when you get into super steep terrain, like having that smaller wheel to not buzz your butt all the time is nice, but overall I think 29er for me works well. So yeah, this is a size large frame. I do use the shorter reach position, so it's a 475 reach. I'm 5'10" or 177 centimeters, and I weigh around 82 kilograms. So
that seems like long for like an average.
Yeah, I think like a lot of Enduro racers are going to a shorter frame. I think for me, going to a medium, even within the long reach setting, it could work well, but I think it would feel just a bit small for me. I've tried racing mediums in the past, and I found in doing so, I was really playing to my weaknesses rather than my strengths, and I think like it's no fun. I think you have to play to your strengths, you know? Like,
yeah, of course.
Play to your strengths, and for me, that's like going fast, riding fast terrain, rough terrain, and sure, it might not be quite as efficient in some corners, but that's okay to me.
Amazing. So what have we got suspension front and rear travel?
The suspension is 165 in the rear, 170 in the front. And yeah, this is the new like Enduro race bike. So.
And that's an unusual shock we're probably not allowed to talk about?
Yeah, I can't say too much, but I'm sure you've seen these shocks kind of around before. Some electronics involved.
Yeah. So what about suspension setup? When you're racing, do you like go for a firmer setup or a softer setup when you're racing?
Mean, it's always something that I'm trying to chase, the perfect setup. But it's funny, like in practice, when you only have one run in Enduro practice and you stop, you know, a couple times, you're always a bit more fresh, so you can maybe hit things a bit faster. And then when you get to your race, like sometimes, you know, at the lower, you know, quarter of the track, you're pretty tired. And sometimes that firm setup, which you thought was going to be good in practice, is actually like really hard to ride. So it's always a balance of finding a setup that is going to work for you when you're fatigued on a long stage in Enduro racing. But I think as a whole, I probably like it a little bit on the firmer side. You know, I'm usually running like 28% sag in the rear and then matching like the feeling in the fork. So yeah.
So tell me about your setup. Was there anything you absolutely must have on your bike?
Oh, good question. Must have.
Noticing that 40 mil rise there.
Yeah, I like a high rise. The new Era bar and a 40 mil rise is good. I cut it to a 760 length, and then I run a 40 mil stem. To pair that, I like a big fork, so 170 mil, downhill tires. Yeah, I like to make it as capable as possible. So this is kind of what we've come up with. It's pretty cool.
Brand new Grip X2 damper in there. Have you had much time on this already?
I have actually. I've had it since January, so had quite a bit of time to play around on it, and definitely a big improvement to the old Grip 2. Yeah. Not only with the damper, but the new bushings are pretty serious reduction in friction. So I've had to go up like a good 5 psi in the air spring. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, nice. And that looks like a big drop to me on the transfer.
Yeah.
Is that 200?
It's not a 200, it's a 180 mil.
Okay.
I don't have quite the legs to fit a 210 in there, but yeah, that's what I can fit in, and yeah.
Is TRP new for you?
Yeah, so this year our team's sponsored by TRP, and yeah, so we're on the TRP EVO DH EVO brakes and the full drivetrain, and yeah, it's working really well for me. So.
Great. Now you
and it matches pretty well with the gold fork.
I know, right? Limited edition.
Yeah.
It's looking good. Now you've got a couple of Enduro World Series podiums to your name. Is that right?
Yeah.
Multiple overalls as well.
So yeah, I've got a couple podiums to my name. I mean, I call it 3. 3 podiums, and then. Yeah, a couple good overall results. I think my best is 6th place overall. So, yeah.
And is there any favorite wins at all, or anything that you were just so stoked on?
I mean, getting on the podium in Whistler was probably like the highlight for sure. I mean, it's like been my goal to get on that podium for ever since I started racing World Cup Enduro. So yeah,
that was
super
EDR,
special.
right? Not like Crankbrothers or.
That was yeah, formerly EWS. So it was before the transition, but yeah, a World Cup podium, so pretty special.
Any goals this year?
Just get back on the podium. I think like this bike I'm really excited about. I think it's like just a big performance upgrade from what we were riding last year, and I think we can do pretty special things on it, so yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. I'm looking forward to you racing and watching you.
I am really looking forward to go racing, yeah.
Thank you so much. If you've got any questions for Remi, let us know down in the comments below. Maybe he'll answer, maybe.
Shoot me a follow.